Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 4, Book 53, number 388. Narrated by Juwayriya bin Qudama at Tamimi. We said to Umar bin al-Khattab, "O Chief of the Believers, advise us." He said, "I advise you to fulfill Allah's convention, made with the dhimmis, as it is the convention of your Prophet and the source of the livelihood of your dependents, i.e. the taxes from the dhimmis." Volume 4, Book 53, number 389. Narrated by Yahya bin Said. Once the Prophet called the Ansar in order to grant them part of the land of Bahrain. On that they said, "No. By Allah, we will not accept it unless you grant a similar thing to our quarries brothers as well." He said, "That will be theirs if Allah wishes." But when the Ansar persisted in their request, he said, "After me you will see others given preference over you in this respect, in which case, you should be patient till you meet me at the tank of Al-Kawthar." Volume 4, Book 53, number 390. Narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah. Allah's Apostle once said to me, "If the revenue of Bahrain came, I would give you this much and this much." When Allah's Apostle had died, the revenue of Bahrain came, and Abu Bakr announced, "Let whoever was promised something by Allah's Apostle come to me." So, I went to Abu Bakr and said, "Allah's Apostle said to me, if the revenue of Bahrain came, I would give you this much and this much." On that Abu Bakr said to me, "Scoop money with both your hands." I scooped money with both my hands and Abu Bakr asked me to count it. I counted it and it was 500 gold pieces. The total amount he gave me was 1,500 gold pieces. Narrated Anas, money from Bahrain was brought to the Prophet. He said, "Spread it in the mosque." It was the biggest amount that had ever been brought to Allah's Apostle. In the meantime Al-Abbas came to him and said, "O Allah's Apostle, give me, for I gave the ransom of myself and Aqil." The Prophet said to him, "Take." He scooped money with both hands and poured it in his garment and tried to lift it. But he could not and appealed to the Prophet, "Will you order someone to help me in lifting it?" The Prophet said, "No." Then Al-Abbas said, "Then will you yourself help me carry it?" The Prophet said, "No." Then Al-Abbas threw away some of the money, but even then he was not able to lift it. And so he again requested the Prophet, "Will you order someone to help me carry it?" The Prophet said, "No." Then Al-Abbas said, "Then will you yourself help me carry it?" The Prophet said, "No." So, Al-Abbas threw away some more money and lifted it on his shoulder and went away. The Prophet kept on looking at him with astonishment at his greediness till he went out of our sight. Allah's Apostle did not get up from there till not a single dirham remained from that money. Volume 4, Book 53, number 391. Narrated by Abdullah bin Amr. The Prophet said, "Whoever killed a person having a treaty with the Muslims, shall not smell the smell of paradise, though its smell is perceived from a distance of 40 years. Volume 4, Book 53, number 392. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. While we were in the mosque, the Prophet came out and said, "Let us go to the Jews." We went out till we reached Beit al-Midras. He said to them, "If you embrace Islam, you will be safe. You should know that the earth belongs to Allah and His Apostle, and I want to expel you from this land. So, if anyone amongst you owns some property, he is permitted to sell it, otherwise you should know that the earth belongs to Allah and His Apostle." Volume 4, Book 53, number 393. Narrated by Said bin Jubair. That he heard Ibn Abbas saying, "Thursday. And you know not what Thursday is." After that Ibn Abbas wept till the stones on the ground were soaked with his tears. On that I asked Ibn Abbas, what is about Thursday? He said, when the condition, i.e. health, of Allah's apostle deteriorated, he said, bring me a bone of scapula, so that I may write something for you after which you will never go astray. The people differed in their opinions. Although it was improper to differ in front of a prophet, they said, what is wrong with him? Do you think he is delirious? Ask him, to understand. The prophet replied, leave me as I am in a better state than what you are asking me to do. Then the prophet ordered them to do 3 things, saying, turn out all the pagans from the Arabian Peninsula, show respect to all foreign delegates by giving them gifts as I used to do. The sub-narrator added, the third order was something beneficial which either Ibn Abbas did not mention or he mentioned but I forgot. Volume 4, Book 53, number 394. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. When Khaybar was conquered, a roasted poisoned sheep was presented to the prophets as a gift by the Jews. The prophet ordered, let all the Jews who have been here be assembled before me. The Jews were collected and the prophet said to them, I am going to ask you a question. Will you tell the truth? They said, yes. The prophet asked, who is your father? They replied, so and so. He said, you have told her, i.e., your father is so and so. They said, you are right. He said, will you now tell me the truth, if I ask you about something? They replied, yes, O Abu al-Qasim. And if we should tell a lie, you can realize our lie as you have done regarding our father. On that he asked, who are the people of the hell fire? They said, we shall remain in the hell fire for a short period, and after that you will replace us. The prophet said, you may be cursed and humiliated in it. By Allah, we shall never replace you in it. Then he asked, will you now tell me the truth if I ask you a question? They said, yes, O Al-Qasim. He asked, have you poisoned this sheep? They said, yes. He asked, what made you do so? They said, we wanted to know if you were a liar, in which case we would get rid of you, and if you were a prophet, then the poison would not harm you. Volume 4, Book 53, number 395. Narrated by Azam. I asked Anas about the qanut, i.e. invocation in the prayer. Anas said, it should be recited before bowing. I said, so and so claims that you say that it should be recited after bowing. He replied, he is mistaken. Then Anas narrated to us that the Prophet invoked evil on the tribe of Bani Sulaim for 1 month after bowing. Anas further said, the Prophet had sent 40 or 70 qaris, i.e. men well versed in the knowledge of the Quran, to some pagans. But the latter struggled with them and martyred them. Although there was a peace pact between them and the Prophet, I had never seen the Prophet so sorry and worried about anybody as he was about them, i.e. the qaris. Volume 4, Book 53, number 396. Narrated by Hani, the daughter of Abu Talib. I went to Allah's apostle on the day of the conquest of Mecca and found him taking a bath, and his daughter Fatima was screening him. I greeted him and he asked, who is that? I said, I, Hani bint Abi Talib. He said, welcome, O Hani. When he had finished his bath, he stood up and offered 8 rakat while dressed in one garment. I said, O Allah's apostle, my brother, Ali has declared that he will kill a man to whom I have granted asylum. The man is so and so bin Hubayra. Allah's apostle said, O Hani, we will grant asylum to the one whom you have granted asylum. Hani said, that visit took place in the duha, i.e. forenoon.